My name is Robert Bell with Keller Williams University, and I'm super excited because I just get to interview Monica Reynolds today, which is really, really cool. Hello, Monica.
Hello there.
This is a great opportunity. I just to get to interview you. We haven't done this on any power sessions yet, and specifically, what I wanted to talk to you about is you recently sold a home, right?
I did, and I sold a home that was in Arizona, and I live in Austin, Texas, and I put my home up for sale. I took the job as VP of Maps in the last part of July, and in August, but this is a typical seller thing. I broke my arm. I had to get to Austin. I hired movers. I walked in the house after being in the hospital for 5 days with a broken arm. They packed up what I wanted, and we left what I needed to leave for staging and leave with the house. And was a huge, big home. And I hired a Keller Williams agent, Rich Barker in Fountain Hills, Arizona, did a fantastic job. And it closed in March 12th, which was amazing because that's when the world blew up. So I was pretty happy that I sold it by that point. And I did everything virtually. I never went back to the home. So I thought you and I were talking is that I never saw the house again. I left. I never went back to Arizona.
Well, tell me more about that. So how did you select Rich as your agent? Did you select him knowing that this would be sort of a remote transaction?
Yeah, Rich Barker is a Keller Williams agent in the area of Fountain Hills, Arizona, which is right outside of Scottsdale there, a few miles. And I knew of him. I've met him before, highly professional, does a lot of luxury type homes. Very familiar, had recently sold a $4 million one. So I knew that he would be the right guy. And I can honestly tell you from step one, he did it absolutely perfect. Not that I'd be critical or anything, right? But he came in with a stager. They talked about how it was going to go down. And I said, great. And I said, I'd be back. And, then I broke my arm, long story short. So I just signed the listing. And I did that virtually. And I didn't even see him when the movers came. He'd had keys. And the long story short is he had to take care of that house. I had some repairs to do. I had some different things that happened to it. Of course, a vacant house, the pool leaked, whatever, right? Just stuff I had to keep repairing. So finally, the house went up in October and went under contract a few months later. The bottom line is that he took care of the gardener. He took care of the handyman who had to go in there, the painters, the plumber, all the pool guy, the pond guy, the fountain guy. I mean, there were a lot of guys with this house that he had to coordinate. But most importantly, of course, and you think I know enough. I said, well, what are we going to do about the closing? You're going to have to send a notary to me and all of that. So he goes, no, we got that handled. You don't need to worry about any of that. So that was the end of that conversation. But he had weekly contact with me. So when you have a seller who's not in the home, like a second home or vacation home, or they've left, they've gone someplace else and they want to sell it. It's that regular contact. So every week we had contact. Every week he gave me a report on who showed it and what their comments were. Every week he told me who was close to an offer. We got a couple of offers, but they didn't come together. And, was just totally in touch with me weekly because it's my asset sitting way out there and I can't see it. And he was checking it every week and they were taking care of the house. Did a great job of that. And then when it came time to the closing, Robert, I thought, okay, he said, we can do it one of two ways. We can send a notary to you, or you can just do it online. And I go, oh, what do you mean do it online? So the closing company sent me all the docs and I went through them and I looked at them with them and I asked questions and I got the closing statement and did all of that. And so all of that was done virtually. And then the next part that was interesting to me, they said, you can sign your documents 24 hours a day. And I went, what? So on March 10th, because at our office at KWRI, if you remember that week before we left on March 13th, we were all pretty busy scrambling, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And I forgot to sign the loan documents. And it's closing on, it's March 10th. It's 11 o'clock at night.
I mean, that's something I would have done too, I think, in that moment. There was so much going on.
Right. And I'm looking through all of my emails, at the end of the day, like 11 o'clock at night, some of my personal ones. I went, oh my gosh, I didn't sign my loan docs. And it said that, and there were like 3 messages. And of course, I had some texts, but I was so busy that day, I couldn't even see straight. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm supposed to close tomorrow. I'm going to screw this up so bad. So it said in there, 24 hours notarized.com. And you just had to go there, put your code in, and then that pulled up all my loan docs, and a notary pops up and says, your notary will arrive in 2 minutes, and then it's all on a Zoom call.
That is so cool.
And she walked me through all the documents, which preliminarily, Richard Barker and his team and, the closing company, we've done that already. So it was a matter of, okay, this one, this one, this one, this one. So I really didn't have any questions for the notary. It's just like if you had a notary come to your office on a closing, which I've had that happen too, they don't really know how to answer questions, but it got done. And then, so the closing was 10 o'clock the next morning. I signed them at 11 and it was done. And it was like, I couldn't believe that I remembered to do that. And especially the next day was when all heck broke loose about COVID and everything. And we went home the next day from the office. So I think it was really amazing to do it like that, because can you imagine?
What did you learn from what he did, and what would you impart to agents who are helping sellers right now?
Number one, he had constant contact about the market. Number two, he gave me feedback on every showing, which, we teach this as coaches, you've got to get that right. But it was consistent. And number three, I know that he had my best interest at heart, because we got a bid on some construction stuff from a fountain that had put some water damage into the dining room, long story short there. And so he got several bids instead of me paying some astronomical amount of money. He did the effort of getting, because he has to go over there, go through the security gate, and then get the key, open it up for the contractor, get the contractor through the country club security gate. All of that stuff had to happen. And so there was so many things that he did, and I kept saying, oh, he's earned his pay. He's earned his pay. So I never felt that he didn't earn what was needed to take care of that house. In a vacant house, as we all know as realtors, weird things happen. And yet they were checking on it all the time. The other thing that I think is so powerful to hear too is that Gary talked about the new real estate, and that it's not going to be the same, and we're the architects. And if you could say to a client, if it's appropriate in your state, we're going to do DocuSign, and there's going to be notarized.com is a notary. And what I had to do, Robert, is I had to hold up my driver's license. She took a picture. I had to hold up my right hand, said, I swear I'm Monica Reynolds. And that was it. Wow. And so in some states that's not available. It probably will be soon, but in a lot of states like Arizona, it was.
What I love from your story too is just all the ways that Rich was able to provide peace of mind to you through. And I think for a lot of people buying and selling homes right now, peace of mind is a top of mind thing, right?
Yeah, the service was at a really super high level, and one of the things too, of course, he had an assistant also, but there was a lot of things and moving pieces and a lot of construction type of things going on, and things had to be fixed and that sort of thing. And he was the general contractor on all of that, and even wrote out a check one time. I had left some checks, but we ran out of checks, whatever. And so he wrote out a check, paid it, and of course he paid it back. But he was just willing to just, not a problem, not a problem, not a problem. So everything I asked him to do, he did. And so that was just really, really great. It was a great experience, and he took care of me well.